In this explainer, we're diving deep into Kate Crawford's incredible book, The Atlas of AI. Our goal here is to completely remap how we think about artificial intelligence. We're going to move way beyond the code to uncover its hidden costs in things like resource extraction, exploited labor, and biased data.
So, when you hear AI, what pops into your head? Probably something abstract, right? Like algorithms or Siri's voice or maybe a self-driving car. But that's just a tiny piece of the story. The truth is, artificial intelligence is a physical, industrial system that operates on a planetary scale. And that's really our starting point. To truly understand what AI is made of, we have to get out of the tech hubs. We have to follow the supply chains all the way back to where they begin. Only then can we see this hidden world of material and human costs. So let's just forget the idea of AI as some magical brain floating in the cloud. We need to see it for what it actually is, a massive system of power. It's built from the Earth itself, fueled by human labor, and trained on data that reflects our own histories and, our own biases. It's time we looked at the full map. Our journey begins at the very foundation, what we're calling the Earth layer, because before a single line of code can be written, a huge process of geological extraction has to happen. This is the true planetary cost of computation.
Let's make this tangible. A single Tesla battery needs almost 140 pounds of lithium. Your smartphone, your laptop, the backup batteries in giant data centers, they all start their lives in a mine. And this dependency on minerals has enormous environmental consequences, ones that are often kept hidden from view.
And just think about how inefficient and toxic this whole process is. To get just 1 ton of the rare earth elements our devices need, mining operations create 75,000 liters of acidic water and an entire ton of radioactive waste. This isn't some clean digital revolution, it's a dirty extractive industry.
And this isn't even a new story. Back in the 19th century, the telegraph boom, which was basically the internet of its day, depended on a latex called gutta percha. The demand was so intense that it drove the tree it came from to the very brink of extinction. It's a pretty stark reminder that our communication tech has always had a deep and often destructive relationship with the natural world.
So from the Earth, we move to the second hidden layer, human labor. Behind the whole illusion of seamless automation, there's a vast global workforce doing repetitive, low-paid, and physically grueling tasks. These are the ghosts in the machine. This slide just illustrates the core illusion perfectly. Back in the 1770s, the mechanical Turk automaton wowed everybody by playing chess, but it was hiding a human master inside. Well, today, Amazon's platform with the very same name does this on a global scale. It uses an unseen human workforce for all the tasks AI can't handle yet, creating what Jeff Bezos himself called artificial intelligence.
The physical side of this labor is just as intense. Inside Amazon's fulfillment centers, workers are managed by algorithms. Every single second is tracked. The relentless pressure to meet a productivity metric they call the rate is so grueling that the vending machines on site are stocked with painkillers. And when workers tried to negotiate, Amazon was clear. The rate is non-negotiable. It is their business model.
And this kind of algorithmic management didn't just appear out of thin air. It's really the logical conclusion of a 200-year history of industrial optimization. From Babbage seeing the factory as a computer, to Taylor's stopwatch, to Ford's assembly line, the goal has always been to make human labor as efficient, predictable, and controllable as a machine. Okay, now we get to the third layer, the one we usually associate with AI, data. Machine learning systems use these huge data sets to learn how to see and classify the world. But the critical question is, whose version of the world are they learning? Think of training data as the textbooks an AI uses to learn about everything. And if those books are full of errors and biases, well, the AI learns a pretty distorted version of reality. That's because data is never neutral. It always carries a point of view.
And the whole practice of classifying people has a very dark history. In the 19th century, scientists like Samuel Morton used skull measurements to create racial hierarchies, using supposedly objective data to justify slavery. Of course, his methods were biased and his conclusions were predetermined. Today, we're seeing a really disturbing echo of that in how AI training datasets are built, often inheriting and scaling up the exact same kinds of historical prejudice.
I mean, just look at this list. These are just some of the thousands of offensive judgmental labels found in ImageNet, which is one of the most foundational datasets ever used to train computer vision.
The people in those images weren't just being identified, they were being judged and sorted into categories filled with misogyny and cruelty.
And when these flawed data sets are used in high-stakes areas like law enforcement, the consequences are severe. California's gang database, which was used to train predictive policing AIs, was found to contain 42 infants. Some were even listed as having admitted to being gang members. This is what garbage in, garbage out looks like when it affects real people's lives.
Okay, so let's put it all together. When you connect the Earth, labor, and data layers, you start to see that AI is not just a technology. It's a structure of power. It's a new kind of map that is fundamentally reconfiguring our world.
A really useful concept here is the mega machine. It describes a system so vast, like the Manhattan Project that built the atomic bomb, that the individual people working inside it are totally disconnected from the final result and its true purpose. Well, planetary scale computation, the system that runs AI, is our era's mega machine.
The way we even talk about AI fuels this problem. We describe it in magical terms, like it's enchanted, but also as though it's inevitable. This whole narrative is dangerous. It hides the human decisions and the power structures behind the technology, making it seem way too complex to question or regulate.
And we cannot ignore who's building and funding these systems. AI is deeply entangled with state and military power. You have companies like Google and Microsoft competing for massive Pentagon contracts, and the surveillance tools developed for the battlefield are now filtering down into our workplaces, our schools, and our city streets.
So this leaves us with a final, really crucial question. This atlas of AI shows us that the technology is redrawing the maps of power, value, and justice in our world. It's changing who is seen and who is ignored, who benefits and who pays the price. So the most important question for all of us then is this: who gets to be the cartographer?
What are your thoughts about this? I'm waiting to see in the comments.